Welcome fans inside the Coaches Report right here on GoHofstra.com. I'm Brian Bohl, joined by the head coach of the Hofstra women's soccer team, Simon Riddiough. Coach, how's everything going?
It's going well, thanks Brian.
Well, a very exciting week. Let's talk about, to start out with Friday, a 5-4 double overtime victory against a pretty good Yale team. Very back and forth game, sort of some weird dynamics as far as leads changing plays. Just talk about what it was like on the sideline.
Yeah, it was quite a surreal game. Yale obviously beat us last year at home. We had some redemption on the back of our mind, but they're a very good team. I think they're better than last year. They've got a really good influx of freshmen. And it made for an exciting game. They came at us early. I don't think we prepared very well for the game in the warm-up. And before you know it, we was down 1-0. Fortunately, we settled and played a good first half. Got the game to 1-1, but unfortunately, again, a couple of defensive lapses cost us a goal just before half-time, and we went in at 2-1 at half-time, which wasn't ideal, but the performance was very good.
Not that you want it to happen later on in the season, but the fact that you're able to come back from an early deficit, is that what the value with these early season games are, that you can kind of get yourself out of different situations and know how to cope?
Yeah, I think it's a test of our abilities and our mental fortitude. You know, and then coming back and then going down again to 3-1, it made it interesting. But with the firepower we have and the individual talent we have, we really forced Yale's hand and came back into the game and took over the lead at 4-3 with 10 minutes to go. So we thought at that stage we were going to comfortably ride out the result. Unfortunately, the referee had some different decisions to make, and we had to adjust to the adversity, and losing a player and then letting up a really late goal in the last minute really tested us, tested our character. Going into overtime, we were man down at 4-4. Really gave us an indication of what we're about as a team. And fair play to the girls. They adjusted accordingly. We didn't panic. We possessed the ball well, playing a man down. And that last goal was a beauty for everybody to see. And I've posted it everywhere because I'm super proud of what the team accomplished in that situation. So. Fair play to the girls.
Well, like you mentioned, being able to bounce back from that late goal in regulation to score in double overtime despite being down a player, what does that mean specifically for the senior? You have a lot of veteran players on this team, and just what does that mean to you as a coach to see those veterans really step up?
Yeah, and you can't underestimate the importance of Joe Bohl, and I say it all the time. That goal in overtime was purely through her heart. She won 2 tackles to get the ball. Desmond made a fantastic run, and then Janine Maeda, as a senior, she probably knows at this stage of her career that ball's going to end up in the box, and she died to get there, and she made a 40-yard run. And that's what you get with senior leadership, that ability and that belief that things are going to happen and good things will happen if you put in the workload. She got on the end of that cross, and most people, I will probably say 99% of people, including myself, would have just smacked that. Especially that late in the game. She didn't. She had a bit of composure. She took a lovely touch to fake out the defender and then just lifted it over the goalkeeper. And that senior leadership, that senior maturity, that composure doesn't come very often. And we're gonna miss out on Janine in next year, but she was awesome to score that winning goal at that point.
Well, great contributions from Janine, and you mentioned even before the season how important Jill's health was coming back. She facilitated those goals and then scores the first 2 goals against CCSU. The first 11 minutes has 2 goals en route to a 4-0 win. Especially being down a player from the red card the previous game. Just talk about what her contributions meant in that game specifically.
Yeah, going into that game there's a slight level of trepidation. We obviously lost Leah Galton for that game, who was arguably the best player in the region, never mind on our team. So we always have some fear of how we're going to react to that and what's the team going to do and how Central going to nullify us. And Jill took the leadership role and she carried us for that first 10-15 minutes. And before you know it, it was 4-0, and we probably scored the 4 most clinical goals I've ever seen. And unfortunately, Central Connecticut was on the back end of that. So it was 4-0 at half time. And not necessarily because we played much better than Central Connecticut, we just took our chances and we finished our chances, and they were all great goals. And at 4-0 at half time, I think everybody would accept that that is a comfortable lead, and we were just going to run out the next half.
You played a few high-scoring games this year. I know as a coach, it can be sometimes heart palpitations on the sideline when there's a lot of back-and-forth action. But do you think that style really suits this team?
Yeah, we're probably the most exciting girls soccer team in the country. If you want to see goals, it's best to get to Hofstra Soccer Stadium and watch Hofstra play, because you're going to see goals on both sides. Obviously now, as we move forward into the business end of the season, we have to start clamping down on giving goals up. We know we're going to score goals. It's going to be very difficult for teams to be able to nullify Kristen Desmond, Leah Galton, Joan Mulholland, set pieces. We've just got an arsenal of weapons which are very difficult to stop. Now we've got to tighten things up. We're giving up too many sloppy goals, mental lapses, individual mistakes. It's not indicative of what I prefer. I would much prefer a 1-0 game rather than a 5-4. But the fans will enjoy 5-4 before 4-1-0. So we've got some work to do. It's getting done now. The girls have been very receptive. They've been very understanding and mature about our decisions and what we need to do. And we're going to get better.
Well, speaking of the fans, Hofstra returns home Friday. You have a local rival coming in Stony Brook. Just talk about preparations for that game and the types of challenges they present.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Sue Ryan's been at Stony Brook for 30 years. She's a pioneer in the women's sporting world, and it's a local rivalry. So you can take form out of it. They've just come off 2 good wins. There's 2 teams who are on form right now. It's going to be a battle. They always are, local rivalries, and talent goes out of the window. It's who wants it more. And Stony Brook are going to come in here and they're going to demand respect. They're going to be organised. They're going to work hard. They've got a great coaching staff, and we have to battle that. And once, if we match their physical intensity and their aggression, I think we've got a slightly talented, better talented team. We should win, but it's easier saying that than doing it. And Friday's going to be an electric atmosphere. It's going to be a good crowd, a good night, and hopefully we can stamp our authority on Long Island.
And not that you're looking past Friday, but Sunday you back on the road against Boston University, former America East rival. Hofstra historically hasn't had much success against the Terriers, but obviously different teams now. So just what do you know about them in your preliminary scouting?
Again, Nancy, she's a tremendous coach at it, and in the same mould as Sue Ryan, a pioneer in the women's game. She's been at BU for probably 25 years now, and they've been one of the programs to what's the word I'm looking for, to appreciate, admire from afar. They're one of the best mid-major programs in the country. She gets to the NCAA's consistently. She gets into the top 50 RPI rankings consistently. She's done an awesome job at BU. Obviously, we haven't had much success even back in our America East days when we played them. We hope to change that sometime. And this is the start of a home and home series where hopefully we can steal one up in Boston, and then they come down to Hofstra the following year, and it's going to be a good battle. They always have been, and hopefully we can squeak out a win.
Well, a challenging slate of games. All starts Friday against Stony Brook right here at Hofstra Soccer Stadium. He's the head coach of the Hofstra women's soccer team, Simon Riddiough. I'm Brian Bohl. Thank you, fans, for watching GoHofstra.com.